Nobody had money in those days. If I could find a pop bottle on my bike, wash it in the rain, in the water, in the gutter, and take it to the store by my grandmother's house, he'd give me 3 cents. I would get Tootsie Roll, a bubble gum. I'd get 3 things for 3 pennies.
Wow.
A Tootsie Roll, a bubble gum, and a Charms little taffy, 4 pieces of taffy. I mean, that was a big deal for 3 pennies. Then when you did go to a movie, the movies were 9 cents. If you found a dime, the movies were 9 cents, so you get a penny candy at the movie counter, at the lobby. So there was a world built for kids. And I didn't have any friends. I was always a loner. If I got a flat tire on my bicycle, I was screwed. But the gas stations, I'd walk in, like, pretend I'm real sad, and they would always fix my flat tire. And
this was 8th grade. So.
Yeah, and I went to get air, pretend to get air, and the guy would say, "Your tire's got a hole in it," and he would take it out, hot patch it, light it on fire, and patch it like that, put it back there, and not charge me nothing. I mean, the whole world, and I would go all over St. Paul on my bicycle. No friends ever. Spent a whole year not needing any friends. Life was a miracle. And I was blessed. And Uncle Noah my grandmother's son, Uncle Noah, my mother's brother, lived below her house, at the same house, 730 Jesse Street. And winter and summer, I did winter and summer there. Oh, and I go sliding on the slide in the alley behind their house in the wintertime. And he would take me day or night, rain or shine or sleet or snow, in his 49 Hudson to go fix TVs. And he would change. He had a tube correspondence course, learn how to tube set, and he would fix TVs. And when I joined the Navy at age 16, I told him I worked on radios, had my own radio set, which was a lie. So they made a radio man in the Navy because of Uncle Noah. And I did 4 years in the Navy as a radio man. Flew for 1,800 hours on a seaplane as a radio man. I was the guy. And by the way, it was the radio man electrician that sat in the back seat of most carrier planes in World War II.
Wow.
Because the pilot wanted somebody back there who could find the carrier when it was lost. Radio men know how to find carriers.
Wow.
Believe it or not.
Were you nervous because you said you knew it but you didn't? Or were you able to learn it pretty
Me and
quickly?
Charlie Brown, my best friend, was a black guy in the Navy. We had 12 seaplanes with 12 crew. And nobody wanted to fly because we had to maintain them ourselves, change engines and everything. So me and Charlie Brown had to learn Morse code to be a radio man. And we pretended we knew it. We didn't know it. We each had in our book written down, da, A, da, B, da, C. So once an hour we'd give base radio position report of our airplane over the ocean. And we understood base call sign NZY4 and our call sign 3 Uncle 84. I was Sugar Fox 3. 3 was my airplane. Charlie was in Sugar Fox 10. So when I hear da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da-da, I hear base radio calling me, I would answer. NZY4, this is 3 Uncle 84. And he would say, "What is your position?" Did means what is your position? P. So the pilot would give me the latitude and longitude, and I'd send that. It's only a group of numbers, and once an hour, and that's all you needed to do to be a radio man. If the base would send me a message back, other than that, I would say, "Can't hear you, bad weather, send slow, send slower." So he'd send real slow, and I'd get my list, and me and Charlie would get the message, and the base radio got so slow they said like dit da da dit 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 da dit da dit, like they were annoyed, like they knew what we were doing. And I said, "Bad weather, say again." And if the base radio would send me half a word, like latitude, L-A-T, I knew he was asking for latitude.
Mm-hmm.
L-O-N, I knew he was asking for longitude, so I could at least figure the rest out. Me and Charlie did that for 3 years.
Oh.
And we'd laugh. We're getting $150 a month extra.
Oh, nice.
And we were fearless. We didn't care. For 10-hour flights, 12-hour flights over the ocean.
Wow.
We could care less about danger.
Wow.
And they never did. The one plane crashed before I joined the squadron in 1960, and it killed the pilot and co-pilot, and everybody else bailed out.
Wow.
So one of our airplanes, VP-48, crashed in San Diego, in the mountains, and that was the only accident for 4 years. And when I got out of the Navy, VP-48 went to Vietnam. So I went to my reunion in San Antonio, 2015, and I met all the people, not all the people, but some of the people that I worked with in 1960, 61. And I got the hat and the T-shirt and the patch for that squadron at the Riverwalk at the Alamo. Then the next year I took your mother on the same tour, Nimitz Museum, Fredericksburg, Oktoberfest. Yeah. That's exactly what my squadron reunion did the year prior.
Okay.
And Wyndham Hotel. So me and your mother got to do what they did the following year. And that was it. The Lord is great. And then I went to my 50th high school reunion for Johnson High School. Saw all the people. Herb Brooks' sister, Dr. Herb, had free steak, lobster.
That's cool.
Everything. Got a letter from my gymnastic from my 50th high school reunion. I went to the high school and I said, I got a letter. I was in the hospital. I had a car accident. I never did get the letter. Oh, she said, you want the letter? She went in the back room and brought me out the letter to put on my jacket. Took my word for it.
Wow.
So this is one miracle after the other. Because of Oshkosh, going to Oshkosh every year.
Yeah.
Oshkosh, St. Paul, Missoula, and then back home.
Yeah.
The Lord made all that possible. So that was 6 years. Then we went to Ohio, Columbus, Ohio,
yeah.
And then Baltimore, the Naval Academy,
mm-hmm.
Chesapeake Bay, and then the Fredericksburg and San Antonio. That ended 2015 and 16 ended my trips to Oshkosh and St. Paul.
Okay.
But what a way to end. It was
yeah.
Oshkosh, St. Paul, and then Columbus, Ohio, and Baltimore, New York. Even did I go to New York? No. Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
And then 15 and 16 was San Antonio. 17 and 18 was what? Vermont.
Mm-hmm.
And New Jersey.
Yeah.
So the Lord has made all this possible.
Then you did go to New York.
Then we did. Your mother went with you guys once.
Yeah.
And then I got to go there, see the Statue of Liberty. By the way, I went to Oshkosh the first time in 2009 because my friend John Newman crashed in a Piper track pacer like mine that he taught me how to fly. He crashed and he got killed. Him and his wife and son were killed over by Dallas. So that's why I went to Oshkosh, was for his memorial service.
Yeah.
And that got me going to Oshkosh for 6 years.
Wow.
So John Newman, my best friend, in EAA Chapter 34, Young Eagles Oshkosh, and they loved him. So he was really an important dude. So he really left me all this. That's what made it all happen. If I wouldn't have gone to Oshkosh for his memorial, I wouldn't have those 6 years of blessing.
Wow. That's cool.
And here we are now, 2018, soon to be 2019.
Yeah.
And now you get to come out here, which is, I know, is the flight is, what do you call that word? Inconvenient.
Oh.
But
it was fine, other than we just got separated the first time, but it was good.
Oh, yeah.
I prefer it to driving all the way.
Yeah, you can't possibly, although your mother thinks we can drive to Vermont.
Yeah, have to make it a
outing.
Yeah, like go to Arkansas and then somewhere else.
Arkansas, St. Paul, Oshkosh, Ohio, maybe Baltimore and Vermont.
Yeah.
And somewhere you can spend the night for free.
Yeah.
Like college students. You always stay at your friend's house and minimize your cost.
That's right.
But the fact that you're doing all this with two boys, when I was divorced and raised two boys by myself, I took them everywhere.
Yeah.
I met John Wayne at Santa Anita. That's where I met your mother. I took him to school when I went to college in Pasadena. I taught him to play tennis. I taught him to. I was a Cub Scout leader.
Yeah.
And we'd go to church. We go to the racetrack after church, and we actually won like $80
nice.
on a $2 bet.
Nice.
The horse's name was You Bet I'll Fly. The first time in Santa Anita, I had $2 to get in, $2 to bet. Kids were free. I saw the name You Bet I'll Fly, so I bet $2. Didn't know what I was doing. I saw people tearing up their tickets, and I said, "What happened? What happened?" Oh, that number 2 horse won. That was my horse. I won $80. We had dinner at a restaurant, and that's where I met John Wayne a couple months later. Talked to him, had champagne with him, had our picture taken, lost the picture. The Duke.
That's cool.
Then met your mother, got married at Santa Anita Church, and moved to Texas. This is all the Lord's blessings. You can't plan stuff like this. Look at that sign. Blessed.
Yeah. Can't plan 2 sleeping kids to sit here and hang out.
You know, it's hard raising kids.
Yeah, it is.
Even when I went to work, I worked at a radio station, and I would take them with me.
Wow. How do you do that? What did they do?
That was summertime when there was no school.
Oh, yeah.
School seasons,
I guess they were older, so they could occupy themselves.
Yeah, they did. They would play. Kevin and Chris always played together outside, and I'd go on the radio station and do work. When I was a Cub Scout, I would never get depressed. I would be activity. I don't have time for depression. I got to do activity. Take Kevin and Chris and go play tennis. To go to school and let them play on the school ground at the college in Pasadena, or at the radio station. They would play outside while I go. I could do an hour's worth of work, and that was my work. I kept the books.
Okay.
And then went to the horse races, went to church. We did everything together. I had to feed them, clothe them, bathe them, at least to the point where Chris was 5, Kevin was 8 or 9, 4 years apart. Yeah, 4 years apart. So by this time, and I was a single parent for 3 years.
Wow.
Ooh. 3.5 years.
Okay. Gosh, I can't imagine.
We had a lot of spaghetti, I'm telling you. Eggs are easy.
Yeah.
Cereal and milk.
Yeah.
Before school, they'd eat at school. But spaghetti, when I cooked, it was tuna casserole, it was spaghetti, or hot dogs and chips. But no depression, ever. That's the Italian. Italians are get after it, do it or I'll kick your butt. But it helped when I was young. At high school, 10th grade, I would go caddy at the golf course, set pins at the bowling alley. And I would always carry 2 bags for 18 holes, or set doubles at the bowling alley to get double your money. And all that, and walked. I must have walked 20 miles a day.
Wow.
Every day. I mean, I was a tough kid. I was never a tough guy, but the Lord saw to it, rain or shine, sleet or snow, I could go. That toughness, I still have that. At age 76.
Nice.